Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans. What we do around here, is bring about conversations of a psychological, mental health, emotional health paradigm. We do that as often as we can, usually several times per week. Make that happen for your listening pleasure. We get over 1,300 of these available for that purpose. And so, signs that you're not motivated. If you need kind of a reset in motivation, would love to be of assistance to you in that way. A couple ways we can do that. You can reach out on Twitter at PO Perception. You can reach out in the About Me section of this YouTube page. Either way, make something good come from the next little while. And when that happens, it would make life easier for everyone involved, hopefully. Anyway, connecting on a deeper level is what we're interested in doing, and ultimately making that happen in a good way can be helpful. So, signs of lack of motivation or issues with motivation is the topic for today. If you don't have a lot of good motivation, then you don't have a compelling why behind the actions that you take. And so the lack of the compelling why leads to challenges with a overall major approach and or good thing there. Ultimately, when we make those decisions, we have a really unique manner of kind of seeing things in a different way and making a better overall look into how we make things go forward is important. But if you don't have a compelling why you're doing what you're doing, what's your motivating factor, what's the things you're trying to accomplish with what you're doing, and or you can continually have sadness and kind of an overwhelmed feeling related to when you try to tackle new things, when you try to look at new ways of being, it can be super problematic and very, very overwhelming. So that level of personal overwhelm kind of will sometimes spill over into almost every area of your life, which ultimately leads to challenges as it relates to making decisions in a long term way. The next thing is the continuation of kind of dealing with constant stressors. So the level of stress that we experience is also related to how much pressure we put on certain outcomes becoming the definition of our self-identity and making decisions as it relates to do things in a more meaningful, directed manner. And those stressors aren't going to go away unless we change our viewpoint. So your level of stress is related to your level of interpretation. That becomes problematic in a number of ways. Next thing to look at there is the desire to kind of um, dealing with feeling drained when you're dealing with social interactive. It has to be eliminated. So that level of drain is directly related to the feeling that you're supposed to have solutions to people's problems, or that you are supposed to be the person that can avoid spirited conflict of a social, emotional, mental in a social, emotional, or mental way, and that level of expectation of self can lead to numerous challenges, even if you don't mean for it to, and that the separation of that leading can then lead to challenges overall for a number of reasons, which sometimes don't always go the way we intend them to go. Again, the wider berth we give ourselves to be able to be successful, the wider berth we give ourselves to be able to be good, the easier it is to make lasting impressions and decisions overall. So the next thing there is ultimately continuing to kind of look at having no goals or plans. Obviously, a person who is beating themselves up over not being in a good space may have difficulty kind of understanding the level of goal or plan that they're able to achieve, and so that becomes problematic in a number of ways, and then ultimately kind of moving things forward uh, in a good way and making things come back together for our own benefit can be super, super charismatic and super beneficial when we begin to understand how to make decisions that are um, coming together in a better way. We then can make ultimate decisions that will be in our best interest, and sometimes doing that becomes problematic as it relates to making decisions that will be um, more focused on moving us forward into the life that we want versus the life that we have. So, hopefully, this is helpful. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.